female reproductive system consists of various parts that together form this reproductive system, which performs various important functions that results in reproduction or giving birth to a new organism. So in this lecture, we are going to discuss various parts of the female reproductive system in detail. But first, let us discuss why reproductive system is important. What are the roles performed by the reproductive system? So the various roles performed by the female reproductive system are as ovulation. So what do you mean by ovulation? Ovulation means release of the egg cell. The egg cell is the gamete, the female gamete. So release of the egg cell or ovum is called as ovulation. Secondly, the female reproductive system performs the next function, that is fertilization. That means it helps in fusion of male and female gamete that will result in the formation of zygote. And this zygote, it will undergo various changes, and finally it will convert into the baby. So what is fertilization? Fertilization is fusion of male and female gametes. Now, third is pregnancy. That is, after fertilization, the implantation takes place. That is the zygote. It is present in mother's womb, which continuously develop, and over a period of 9 months, it develop in mother's womb, and which is then delivered. All right. So the female reproductive system, it helps in pregnancy. The female reproductive system also helps in the childbirth, that is delivery of the baby, also called as parturition. And not only it is responsible for giving birth, but it is also responsible for providing nutrition, providing aftercare to the child once child is born. So once child is born, through the mammary glands, the milk is produced, which give nourishment to the baby that is born. So these are the various roles performed by the female reproductive system. Now we will discuss what are the various parts of female reproductive system one by one. So children, now let us discuss parts of female reproductive system. So there are various parts in human female reproductive system. The female consists of one pair of ovaries. Now, the ovary is the primary sex organ. What do you mean by primary sex organ? Primary sex organ means an organ that helps in development of the gametes. Okay. The next organ that we have is the oviduct. Oviduct, also called as fallopian tube, it helps in transfer of the egg cell released by the ovary, and it transfers it to the site of fertilization and then to the uterus. Then uterus. Uterus is also called as mother's womb. It is the place where the development of baby is going to take place. Then there is cervix and vagina. Both cervix and vagina act as a birth canal through which delivery of baby is going to take place. So we'll discuss all these in detail. But before that, just have a look at this diagram. So in this diagram, as you can see, there are different, this diagram represents various parts of female reproductive system. There is one pair of ovary. This is one pair of ovary that you can see here. So this is one pair of ovary, one on the right, one on the left. Okay. And these ovaries, they are attached with the help of special ligaments. And then there is this then there is this oviduct. As you can see, the oviduct, it is divided into 3 different parts. The infundibulum, I am marking it with a blue marker. So the infundibulum, the ampulla, and isthmus, these are various parts of the oviduct. We will discuss further in this lecture, but for now, the oviduct is also called as fallopian tube, and it consists of 3 parts: infundibulum, ampulla, and isthmus. Then we have uterus. Uterus, this part is the uterus. Let me mark it with purple color. Okay, so this part is the uterus, and uterus is the place where development of baby takes place. It is the mother's womb, and it is the place where, for 9 months, the development will take place here in the uterus. And then we have cervix and vagina. Cervix and vagina, I'm marking it with green color. So this part is cervix, and this lower part, it is the vagina. So this cervix and vagina serves as the birth canal, and it helps in delivery of the baby. So let us discuss each part in detail. So now, first of all, let's discuss ovary. So ovary, as I mentioned earlier, ovary is the primary sex organ. That means it produces gametes. All right. So it produces gametes. Gametes, the ovum or the egg cell, they are called as the gametes. Apart from producing gamete, it also helps in production of certain hormones like estrogen and progesterone. Children, estrogen and progesterone, they are steroid hormones. They are steroid hormones, and they are the reproductive hormones of the female produced by the ovary. So these steroid hormones called as estrogen and progesterone, they are produced by the ovary, and they perform various functions, like they help in development of the egg cell. They also helps in ovulation. They also helps in preparing the uterus for implantation. So they perform various important role. So there is one pair of ovary. These ovaries, they are almond shaped, 2 to 4 centimeters in length, and they are present in the lower abdomen. And as I told you, they are attached to the pelvic wall with the help of some special type of ligaments. Now, this is the diagram of an ovary. As you can see, there is an epithelium, there is an outermost thin membrane called as epithelium. It is a protective layer made up of some connective tissues, and inside there is stroma. Whatever inside the epithelium is the stroma. Now the stroma, it is divided into two parts. The outer stroma, outer part of the stroma is called as the cortex. It is the outer part of the stroma. And the inside, the inner part of the stroma, it is called as medulla. All right, so inner part of stroma is the medulla. Now later we will study that in cortex number of follicles are present, and these follicles they mature and they give rise to the egg cell. But for now we should know that what is ovary. Ovary is the primary sex organ of the female. It produces gametes. It also produces hormones. It is almond shaped, length is 2 to 4 centimeters, present in the lower abdomen, attached with the help of ligament, consist of an epithelium, and inside there is stroma. Now let us move to the next part, that is oviduct, also called as fallopian tube. So now the next part of female reproductive system is the fallopian tube. As already discussed, fallopian tube is also called as oviduct. And it is a tube-like structure which connects the ovary to the uterus. Okay. So the fallopian tube, it is divided into three parts. It consists of one infundibulum. The second part is ampulla, and then the isthmus. Now, infundibulum, it is the funnel-shaped structure. It is a funnel kind of structure. So if ovary is present here, there is an infundibulum present next to the ovaries. So infundibulum is the part that is closest to the ovary. So it is funnel shaped, and it is closest to the ovary, and it consists of some finger-like projections which are called as fimbriae. As you can see in this picture, this finger-like projections, they are called as fimbriae. So these finger-like projections, they keeps on moving continuously like this. And when the ovary, when it releases egg cell, the egg cell, it is received by this fimbriae. So because of this fimbriae, it moves continuously. The egg which is released from the ovary, it moves inside the oviduct or fallopian tube. It doesn't go anywhere because there is no physical connection between them. It lies very close to it. So the egg cell that is released from the ovary, it might go somewhere else as well, but this doesn't happen because this fimbriae, it keeps on moving, continuously moving like this. As a result, the egg cell which is released from the ovary, it moves inside the fallopian tube. All right. So the infundibulum, it is a funnel-shaped structure. As you can see in this diagram, it is the funnel-shaped structure, and it is closest to the ovary, and it consists of fimbriae, which are finger-like projections, which helps in collecting the egg cell, which is given out from the ovary during the process of ovulation. So it helps in collection of ovum released from the ovary. Now the next part of the fallopian tube is the ampulla. The ampulla is little wider, and ampulla plays very important role here. The ampulla is the place where fertilization will take place. What is fertilization? Fertilization is fusion of male and female gametes. So ampulla or ampullary region is the place where fusion of male and female gamete will take place. And the last part of the oviduct or fallopian tube is the isthmus. And isthmus is the part, it is the narrowest part of this fallopian tube or oviduct, and it directly opens into the uterus. All right. So these are three different parts of the fallopian tube. So uterus is the mother's womb. It is the place where the development of fetus will take place for the 9 months. The uterus, the shape of the uterus, it is inverted pear-shaped. As you can see in this diagram, it is pear-shaped structure, inverted pear-shaped structure. That is, it is broader from the upper part and it is narrow from the lower part. So this uterus, it consists of three layers. The innermost is called as endometrium, the middle one is the myometrium, the outermost is the perimetrium. So the perimetrium is the outermost layer. It is made up of connective tissues. The middle layer is the myometrium. Now children, myo word means muscles. So myometrium is made up of smooth muscles. And if you know that smooth muscles, they help in contraction. So this myometrium, it causes vigorous contraction in the uterus that pushes the baby out. And once the baby is completely developed, there is this contraction, vigorous contraction in myometrium that pushes the baby out. The delivery of baby is also known as parturition. So we say that myometrium, it helps in parturition. Okay, so myometrium, it causes, it is made up of, it is the middle layer, it is made up of smooth muscles, and it causes vigorous contraction in the uterus. Now the next layer is the endometrium. Endometrium, which is the innermost layer, and this layer, it undergoes changes throughout the month. Now in females, the menstrual cycle, that is menstrual cycle takes place in females. During this cycle, it is a 1-month cycle. So during this cycle, the egg from the ovary, it matures. Then this egg is released from the ovary. If there is sperm available, then this sperm and egg cell, it will fuse together. This process is known as fertilization, and it takes place in ampulla part of the oviduct. After fertilization, zygote is formed. which then implants. It implants in uterus. That means it attaches itself to the wall of the uterus. And then slowly, steadily, the development takes place in the uterus. So for implantation, the uterus prepares itself. The endometrium becomes thick, it becomes cork and screw style. That means it has a lot of grooves in which the egg cell can, hold itself, and then it gets implanted to the uterine wall. But in case if there is no sperm present, number one is the infundibulum, number two is the ampulla, and number three is the isthmus. So you can learn it by IEI. Infundibulum, ampulla, and isthmus. All right. So infundibulum and isthmus, they are narrow part, while ampulla is the wider part, and ampulla is the region where fertilization will take place. So ampulla is wide, and it is the region where fertilization will take place. Is this clear to you? All right. Now let's move to the next part, which is uterus. In the ampullary region, when eggs come to the ampullary region, and if there is no sperm present over there, then no fertilization will take place. As a result, no zygote will be formed. The egg will come into the uterus. And since now there is no pregnancy, there is no point of developing the endometrium, because the endometrium was being developed for implantation. All right. So because there is no pregnancy now, there is no fertilization of male and female gamete. As a result, what will happen that this egg, unfertilized egg, it will come out of the body along with some endometrium. The endometrium will shed itself, because now there is no need of the endometrium. Endometrium was preparing itself, endometrium was getting thicker in order to implant the zygote. But if zygote is not formed, there is no fertilization, zygote is not formed, that is why the endometrium, it sheds. And when it sheds endometrium, it comes out along with some blood, which is called as menstruation. So this cycle takes place in every 28 days, for which the the changes takes place in endometrium. The endometrium, it starts growing, and when there is no fertilization, it sheds off, and then again development of endometrium takes place. So we say that endometrium, it undergoes cyclic changes in order to prepare itself for the implantation. All right, so it undergoes cyclic changes during the entire menstrual cycle, that is during the entire month from 0 to 28 days of menstrual cycle, prepare itself for implantation. But if implantation doesn't take place, endometrium sheds off. So these are the three different layers of the uterus. Now let us move to the next part, that is cervix and vagina. So the cervix is the narrow part that connects the uterus to the vagina, and the vagina is the lowermost part of the female reproductive system. Both cervix and vagina, they together forms the birth canal. That means it is the place through which parturition will take place. The vagina, it extends from cervix to the external genital orifice. So what is external genital orifice? The opening of the female reproductive system. Okay, the external opening of the female reproductive system is called as vaginal orifice. All right, and receive the penis during the intercourse. So the cervix and the vagina, it together forms the birth canal. So I hope this much part is clear to you. Now let us quickly move to the external genitalia. So the female external genitalia consists of mons pubis. The mons pubis is the fleshy part which is covered with the pubic hair. Mons pubis. As the female hit puberty, there is growth of hair in this area. Then there is two skinny folds, fleshy skinny folds called as labia majora and labia minora and labia minora. So the labia majora and labia minora, they are skinny folds that surrounds the vaginal orifice. All right, so here there is vaginal orifice, there is urethral orifice. This is urethral orifice, and this is vaginal orifice, that is opening of the vagina, external opening of the vagina, vaginal orifice. So this vaginal orifice, it is surrounded by two fleshy folds called as the labia majora is a kind of thick, fleshy fold, while the labia minora, this part, the labia minora, it is thinner, and the labia majora, it is covered by pubic hair, while labia minora is not covered by pubic hair. And at the junction of the labia minora, that is here, at the junction of labia minora, there is a part called as clitoris. Now, clitoris is homologous to male penis. That means it functions same as male penis. That means it consists of sensory nerves. That makes it very sensitive part. The vaginal orifice, it is covered by a thin layer called as hymen. Now, I cannot draw the hymen over here, but I will just write hymen. There is a partial covering, the vaginal orifice, it is partially covered by a layer called as hymen. Now, children, this is very important to know that the vaginal orifice, it is covered by hymen, and whenever the hymen breaks, it causes little amount of bleeding. Now, this hymen, it breaks during the first intercourse, but it might also break due to some other reasons. For example, during horse riding or during vigorous cycling, or maybe due to sudden fall or jolt, or there can be many reasons. So the hymen, presence or absence of hymen doesn't doesn't tell about the virginity of a person. All right. So these are the various parts of external genitalia. Let us quickly write about it so that you can also prepare your notes side by side. So the external genitalia in female, it is called as vulva. It is the outside pelvic cavity. It consists of mons pubis, that is fatty tissue covered by pubic hair. Labia majora, it is fleshy fold of skin that surrounds the vaginal orifice and it is covered with hair. Labia minora, it is hairless fold of skin which lies inner to the labia majora. Hymen, as I told you, it is a thin membrane that partially covers the vaginal orifice. And clitoris, it is present at the anterior junction of labia minora. It is highly sensitive and it is homologous to penis innate. So these are various parts of the female reproductive system. I hope you have understood, and we will continue with the next part in the next video. Till then, bye-bye and thank you for watching.